on, people? We are here for another Fourever Arsenal. Bigging up my cohorts that are joining me, with smiles on their faces, right? We've got Curtis Shaw, Jack, and of course, Lee Judges in the building. Lee, how's the back doing after last night?
Yeah, a little bit. The back's all right. It's the bloody leg, like, you know what I mean? I've damaged some nerves and all, like, you know what I mean? And it's sciatica. I'm struggling with the knee at the moment, but other than that, it was all right. I got through the game yesterday, like, you know, as Mikel said, I got through the 90 minutes.
You said to me last night you got a scan.
I got a scan on Saturday, yeah. So, like, to just check out.
Yeah, as I said to you last night, right? We should know a little bit more after the scan.
We should know that. Hopefully it's only days. It's only days, you know.
yeah. And then he's out for about 3 months, you know what I mean? We don't see him again. But welcome along, guys. Welcome along. How's everyone doing?
Yeah, good, man. Obviously, Gyökeres, you know, so I'd be interested to hear what Jack the Hat's got to say about him, but we'll delve into that. And it was a good win, man. Good win.
Yeah, good win. And just before we start, just like to say that I wasn't a fan of you taking me to court without me being there last episode. I feel like 2 points is quite a harsh sentence. I don't want to bring my lawyer with me and give my evidence of maybe certain other people in this podcast missing certain episodes. I feel like I've got a good appearance rate. But you know, I'm pretty sure I was maybe the only one that predicted a win.
Yeah, you got a point back. Yes.
Yeah. So you know what?
Yeah.
You know what? It is what it is. I'll take it.
Predict to win. This guy, man, he's too good, man. He's too good.
Well, do you know something? Do you know the karma of the night? I don't know if you guys saw this watching the game back, right? So when Declan Rice is taking the corner, Chelsea fans are effing and blinding at him. He whips the corner and Ben White scores, and you just see all their face like, oh no, what have we done there?
No, it was
brilliant moment.
It was good. Let me tell you, me and Lee were at the game. The atmosphere was brilliant, like from the Arsenal fans anyway, because I thought their fans were a bit quiet, man. Even at the start of the game, it's a semi-final. They had a little display with fireworks and all that. I remember them having a go at us about our tifo. That display they done yesterday, where hardly any of them even lifted up the blue and white things they were holding above their heads. I mean, that was really poor. And then, when you consider they're announcing a new manager and all that, that was just, I don't know what you thought, Lee, you know what I mean? But the atmosphere in the away end, because on those sort of games, it's a cup game. So you get like the whole of the shed end we got. Literally, I'd say 90% of the shed end we got. And the atmosphere, the upper and lower tier, as you can imagine, it was absolutely brilliant, and yeah, I loved that game. It's the last two games, right? Them last two games, Portsmouth and this game. I've loved those games, man. The atmosphere, there's been something special about both of those games with the atmosphere and everything, and the fans and the amount of fans that you can bring, because obviously in the Premier League, you only get a smaller fraction of the ground, but when it's those cup games, you get the whole end. So you can make up a lot of noise. It really does have a big impact. Don't you reckon, Lee?
Yeah, definitely. It does make a difference, and I think it'll make a difference for Chelsea when they come to the Emirates, because they'll have the whole, the clock end, wouldn't they? So, and that's what is the difference. I think about those games is that you get like loads of fans there. There's a lot of fans there that can't make it week in, week out, and so they really make the atmosphere. And I thought that the Arsenal fans yesterday were unbelievable from start to finish. Hilarious with the Thomas Frank song, which was hilarious.
Thomas Frank's a silver member. What made me laugh about that? He's not even a gold member, right? The song that they sing, he's a silver member.
It was absolute quality. The atmosphere was great, and I think that, dare I say it, that's the most comfortable I've felt at going to Chelsea for. I can't remember the last time that I went there feeling like that comfortable in a game. I actually come away disappointed, lads. I'm not being horrible. Like I know I can be miserable and whatever, but we should be like planning our Wembley trips now. Like, you know what I mean? Should have been comfortable win. They were poor. Let's be honest. You know what I mean? I honestly think, Rob, that the atmosphere of their fans was a little bit dampened when they see their team sheet, because when I see their team sheet, I said, "There's no way we're drawing this now." I know, like I said, "Oh, Jack's got the point." If I'd have known what's gone with, I'd have definitely gone for a win. I looked at it straight away when I see that team is like, a draw was no good for us on this game. I think that they was a little bit deflated, their fans. Speaking to a couple of their supporters afterwards, they're buoyant. They're still in it. They can't believe that they're still in it. He said, like, how we're still in this competition, I don't know. Like, you know, so there's a little bit of disappointment in there. But I thought the atmosphere and listen, you take a win at Chelsea any day of the week, like, you know. But I hope we don't live to regret this, boys. I really do.
Yeah. Listen, for me, I think, like what Robbie said, man, I think the cup's been a welcome distraction. Took a little bit of pressure off us, and you know, we've scored 7 goals in the last 2 games, which is good. And even last night, you know, we could have scored more goals. I thought that Marino chance was pivotal. You know, that would have killed the game off. I thought Zubamendi's goal was outstanding. The way he dropped the shoulder, you know, for that second one, sent Fofana to the shops. Obviously, a great moment for Gyökeres getting his goal. We'll probably speak about Gyökeres in more detail, but I think what we learnt with Gyökeres, you've got to get the ball to him quicker. I think we take too long sometimes to pass the ball to him. Even the way Marino just got the ball into him, he gives it to Zubamendi and we score. The goal, you know, obviously they were looking at it on Sky saying Saka should have crossed it, and then he delayed it, and then obviously Ben White gave it to him. Yeah, I'm with Lee a little bit. It was mixed feelings after the game. You know, 3-2 at the Bridge is always good to win. It's a tough place to go. But I felt we should have killed that tie off. I mean, we saw when City scored that second goal at Newcastle the night before, I kind of went, yeah, that's done. They ain't coming back from 2-0 at the Etihad. And I think we've let them off the hook a little bit. I heard their manager saying that Reece James, Caicedo and Palmer, you know, they'll all be back for the weekend. So effectively, we've got a 1-goal lead going into the second leg. If they were to score, you're back level again. So I think we definitely let them off the hook yesterday. But I was pleased with the attack yesterday. We looked like we were going to score a lot, especially in that second half. But the goals were soft, very soft goals we conceded. You know, at the back post, Garnacho's unmarked, Kepa's on the floor and wrestling with Chelsea players. You think, what's going on? Shouldn't have conceded 2 goals to them with the players they had missing. But I think, learn from it, but it's still a positive result to get a win.
Yeah, I think we said off air, Kepa is probably the only player I probably watched last night that I had a bit of worry about. I think someone said on this pod, I think it might have been Kenya that said on the pod that she wouldn't have played Kepa in the semi-final. And I was like, no, you're silly. We can't drop him. It's sort of that unwritten rule that you got a cup keeper. But there is part of me thinking now that if we do get to the final, the difference between Raya and Kepa could be the thing that wins us a trophy or not. But I can't see us dropping him after playing him the whole tournament. But I think having David Raya in that final would definitely help if we do get there, especially if we're playing against Man City. I just think, I don't know, his distribution weren't bad at times. I thought some of his long balls to the wingers were quite good, and his goal kick seemed to dip quite well for Gyökeres to take control of. But in terms of shot stopping, yeah, I feel like, especially
Corners
that
as well.
corner, he was in no man's land, and I think maybe because that's probably Raya's strength is claiming crosses, and he's quite good at catching corners, that maybe we noticed it a bit more. Garnacho's goal, I don't think it was entirely down to him. Could a better goalkeeper could have saved it probably, but I think Ben White got caught a little bit at the back post. So I'm not going to overly criticise Kepa on that, but yeah, I mean, Curtis has already mentioned his name, Victor Gyökeres. I would like to start by saying I personally think that was one of his best performances for us, if not his best. And he might have only got 1 goal, and it was a tap in. But my whole argument for him the whole time is that he just looks useless, and he's not in the right position, and he's not getting anywhere. But I think last night he was actually actively in the right position for most of the game. The amount of crosses that went in, and he actually was there. The amount of crosses that should have gone in, like we said about Saka, and he didn't get it, and it wasn't his fault this time. I just kept thinking about how the goal he did score, the amount of times I'm used to seeing that ball go across that box and he's not there gambling, but last night he was, and it paid off. So it's just like, hoping last night gave him that confidence boost. It's a big goal against a big team, away game, cup semi-final. It's one of the bigger goals he's going to score this season, even if it is a tap-in. So I'm just hoping that's just a bit of a confidence boost for him, because we're going to need him firing if we want to win all 4 trophies. So why not?
Yeah, no, definitely it's a confidence booster for him. His confidence has obviously been really low. And like you said, I mean, these are the type of games you buy these players for, isn't it? It's a semi-final, big game, away from home, a goal and an assist and getting a man in a match in a game like that is just what you're there for. And I said before with him, it's about finishing off. You've had a poor start. How are you going to finish the second half of the season now, the business end, when there's going to be some big games and stuff like that? What impact are you going to make in those? And he certainly made a big impact yesterday. But just going back to what you said, Lee, and I agree with you a bit, right? I came out of the ground, I was absolutely buzzing, and I would have took 3-2 all day long before the game. But as I watched that game and how dominant we were, I was like, how did these men get 2 goals, man? I was just like a bit gutted about that. Because I think, remember last year when we played Newcastle, once they got that second goal, man, it was a hope and prayer when we went up there. And then we went up there, they got the first goal, and that was it. Tie over. Boom, right? So I think, had we have got a 2-goal lead, I'd have been like, ties over. 1-goal lead, they still got a bit of hope, even though I'm still confident because we've got such a good record at the Emirates. This Chelsea fan last night was giving it to me. I had to remind him that, we are unbeaten at the Emirates this season, right? So it's not going to be easy for you guys to come there and get the win. And by the way, right, I said, the Chelsea fans were coming up to me and whinging and moaning about the fact that there was no Caicedo. That's his own fault because he got suspended for the game. They go, no Reece James, no Cole Palmer. I'm like, guys, you spent over £2 billion on your squad. And 2 guys are missing, 3 guys are missing, and what? You're crying. We came to your place. I had to remind them. When we came to your place the other day, we had no Saliba or Gabriel. We were missing players. Lots of big games this season. We've been missing big players. Remember, we played Villa. No. Remember the thing? No Declan Rice, and so I'm like, you have, you know what I mean? It's not like we're playing, I don't know, a mid-table team, and they're missing like 2 of their key players, and we know that. We played Everton the other day. They're missing Ndiaye. They're missing what's the name? The guy they got from Leicester. 2 absolute key Dewsbury Hall. 2 absolutely key players for them. And we know within their squad, they haven't really got that because, financially, they don't have that clap. But Chelsea, you spent over $2 billion. So when their squad should be like our squad, that if one of those players are missing, someone's got to be able to come in and cover really, really well for them. And I was just like, you look whinging away, man. I was actually laughing at them whinging away as well. But, yeah, I do feel a 2-goal lead, it would have been all over. I mean, that save, it was actually a good save by that Sanchez. I don't know what he was doing for after the rest of the game. But that save he made from Marino, that was because Marino hit that well. But I'm confident, man, when they come to our place, I'm confident. You can never say never because, like you said, they'll be looking at it now. If we can get an early goal, I think we got to look on it the same way. If we get an early goal, we kill it off. And we've been very, very strong at home. And that am I right that was the first semi-final Arteta's won for 4?
First semi.
4, yeah.
Since the FA Cup,
Since the FA Cup.
Yes.
I'll tell you what does make me laugh is that I see these fans yesterday saying, we've got so-and-so out and all that. These are the same fans that were saying to us last season and the season before when we got injuries. No excuses. No excuses.
Yeah.
No excuses. All of a sudden, they get a couple of injuries and they're looking at that. So I don't worry about that. That's the team they put out and all that. As far as I'm concerned with Gyökeres yesterday, I'm buzzing for him yesterday because it wasn't just his goal, which was a simple one in the context of it. I thought his all-round play was really good in the first half. What I liked about it, there was a chance where he twisted and turned and got a shot off and it went for a corner. I think maybe a game before, definitely even the Gyökeres, he would have just laid that off the easy option, which there was an option on to just lay it back, but he didn't. He said, "No, I'm turning here." Showed a lot of bottle in himself, like, you know, a lot of belief. And I think that's what he's got to have now, a little bit of belief, you know. I like the fact that when Saka should have put it across to him, he sort of was going to have a tantrum, but then he turned back in and had the tapping, like, you know. And I think that his celebration was like, you know, I was lucky to score that because I should have had the ball a little bit earlier. So I liked all of his attitude. I liked his work rate. Again, when he comes off, we concede. I think that's something that's got to be looked at again. I think every single time, bar one there, that he's come off, we've conceded. So there's lots of positives to take from his performance.
Brought on a lot of attacking players there. You know what I mean? Didn't bring on the defenders, what you've been arguing about in recent weeks. You know,
you got.
When I look around, I saw lots of attacking players come on.
Did you see Declan Rice attacking, pressing their front three and back four?
Would it be maybe better to maybe have brought on a few more defensive players? Because these are some of the things in previous weeks you've argued against.
I would argue
Havertz, all these attacking players come on and then we concede.
I would argue the fact is that yesterday I do believe that Mikel looked at that substitutions and it was about getting players minutes and giving players a bit of time off, i.e. I can't explain why he put Havertz in midfield, dropping Marino back into, changing the whole midfield balance of it all, like just to give somebody 20 minutes, you know what I mean? And I think that if Jesus wasn't on the bench there, or he had to make it, I'm going to say it, I'll say it, a little bit disappointed in Mikel yesterday because he had a choice. The choice was to bring either Havertz on or Jesus on, one of the two. And he didn't. He put both on. And I get why he was trying to do it, trying to give him minutes, but that cost us a goal, in my opinion. But as I say, like, you know, I will say this: I'm fed up now of going to games and watching Saka get kicked to smithereens, like, you know, and everybody turning around saying he ain't good, he ain't this, and he ain't that. He was absolutely brilliant yesterday. Again, like, I thought he was fantastic. Gyökeres, like, is, you know, everybody telling me he's the best left back in the league and he's better than this and better than that. Every time I watch him, he gets books against Saka within the first 20, 25 minutes because he's kicking lumps out of him. He could not cope with him last night at any shape or form. Big up Saka yesterday. I thought that, you know, people have questioned him and all that. I was one that's saying maybe play Madueke in this game because I think, you know, he needs the rest and all that. I thought he was brilliant yesterday. And as good as Gyökeres was yesterday, he was nowhere near the man of the match as far as I was concerned. Saka was in front of him. But my man in the match was Zubimendi. I thought he was outstanding in there yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I do agree with you there, Lee, is the Havertz change. I thought he chose the wrong part of the game to start giving out minutes to get your fitness up. 3-1 in a semi-final. Gyökeres coming off. You choose one or the other.
Yeah.
He's then shoehorned Havertz into midfield, dropped Marino back when Marino was playing really well, by the way, when he came on. And then our midfield shape went, and they had a little spell where they had a few shots, a few corners. They looked a bit dangerous. And for the sake of 8 minutes, which is how long Havertz came on for, was it really worth it to disrupt the shape of the team? I thought Odegaard yesterday was a bit disappointing for me. I felt a bit disappointed for Ethan. I know we're concentrating on the collective. It's more important than any individual. But I just think, if I'm Ethan, I'm sitting there going, the two guys that are keeping me out at the moment, one is Eze, who can't get a kick, played against Portsmouth, didn't play well. And the other is Odegaard, who, as I always say, like, I've never seen a captain get substituted so much. Like, every game he comes off. And I thought he was lackluster yesterday. And, you know, maybe, listen, Ethan's got to wait his turn, and the bench was stacked with first-team players, so he's probably going to have to be patient. The only thing I would say, Lee, I don't know, you know, I thought Saka put a shift in Well, I don't know whether he had a great game, really. Like, I can't think of much goal threat from him. He didn't really create a big chance. I know he laid the ball for Ben White's cross. But I don't know. During the watch along, I was actually saying with 20 minutes to go, Gyökeres on a yellow. Maybe I'd bring Noni on now and give him 20 minutes to run at him. So I don't know. Maybe he saw it different in the ground. I thought he played okay.
I think because we was that close to him, weren't we, Rob? Like on that right hand side, we was slightly to the side. Just the things he was doing. Every time he got the ball, they backed off of him. The desperation to get to him, and also I have to say the desperation to kick him. I'll tell you, it was 3 times they went really through on him bad last night, and I think even the referee had a little chat with him and was saying to him, look, I can't really book them for it because they're not quite bookable. I don't know. You had a little chat with him about it, I maybe because I was just watching. I was concentrating him down on that right hand side. And there was a time when I have to say that he gave it to Cucurella and he fell out off the pitch and all that, and all the Arsenal fans were giving it to Gyökeres, and Saka was just lapping it up, laughing, and it was quite funny, So I thought he was good last night, I have to say.
Yeah, I thought he was good. In terms of what Lee said in the first place, I thought every time he got the ball, Cucurella was on skates. I thought he was fouled like 20 times, and it's Saka. You know what I mean? We sort of expect that from him now. But the one way I could agree with Curtis is that I can't sit here and criticise Gyökeres for doing the hard work and then not scoring and moaning that he's not getting goals and he's a striker and stuff. Saka's our franchise player. Saka's our main man. He's our star boy. There is part of me that thinks, could we be seeing a few more goals from him? I know that he's gone through periods throughout his Arsenal career where he's got quite a few goals, but I think even up to the past year or so, he's slowed down a lot on the end product side of scoring. I'm not saying Saka's bad or anything like this, but if he does want to, cement his name in history and, go down with all these league titles and Champions Leagues, there's obviously rumours he signed his new contract. He's the highest paid player at the club. There were like athletic articles saying that in the summer we were telling people you won't earn more than Saka. You do just want that. You just do want that X factor sometimes. Maybe that's what I just want from him sometimes. I expect him to rinse his fullback every game now. He's at that elite level that he's always going to beat his fullback. Like you said, Cucurella is a European champion, and he makes him look like an ordinary left back. But it is that thing of, okay, when you do beat your man, maybe not an aimless cross, maybe not stop and pass it back to Ødegaard because you're so good at doing it. It'd just be nice to see him. I can't remember the last time he did that cut in on his left foot and bend it into the top corner. And I remember him doing it against old Matty Turner in the Nottingham Forest goal, maybe a year or so ago. And it's just like, maybe I want that a bit more. Maybe I'm being critical. I don't know. But I do think that when you look at the other elite wingers in the world, maybe the Yamals and the Rafinhas and the Elises and stuff like this, they do seem to get a lot more goals. I think it was like he had like 4 or 5 open play goals in 2025. And it's like, I'm not saying that's bad. He is a winger. He's not a striker. His whole job isn't to score. But when you're the franchise, the star boy, you do think that the Salahs, the Yamals, the Rafinhas, the Elises do have a bit more goal threat to them. So maybe it's something you could just improve on, but he has shown it before. So yeah, I don't know, maybe I'm being critical. I don't know what you guys think, but I do think he does need to add a bit of that goal threat, because there were times I thought, I know he's going to beat his man, but the cross is just going to go in and get cleared out.
Yeah, the thing is that, what, as a winger, right, you put that's the thing is that I think he does have a lot of end product. He hasn't had as much recently. He's still. I don't think he started off a season as well as normal because he's been sort of injury hit and stuff like that. But again, another one of these players that if he starts to come to the party second half of the season, it's going to be very, very important for us. And just going back to the Gyökeres thing now, like, I want to see these players getting the ball in earlier to him. I know, Curtis, you were saying there was a bit of a debate on TV about it. I've been saying it for a while. I want to get the ball into this guy earlier. Let's see. I was watching the other day some of his goals that he scored at Sporting. And, whilst, we can turn around and say it's a different league and stuff like that, but the actual finishes themselves were really good, really instinctive, really sharp. But what I noticed with obviously they get a lot more space there, but they were just getting the ball up to him quick. And he was just instinctively doing his thing. And I can understand why they've been having that debate about him, because get the ball into him, give him a chance so that we can assess whether he's actually any good or not. Because I've just felt that a lot of the balls that have been played up to him have not been good enough. And if we can get him going and get his confidence up, he could be a really important player for us. Pushing towards the end of this season, because that's where we are now. Business time. It's all about business now. You know what I mean? Nottingham Forest, business. Milan, these are all big games, and he's going to be an important player. But I was pleased for him last night because he's got, you know what I mean? He's got now 2 strikers breathing down his neck, so he has to deliver. Maybe that's helped as well.
Well, maybe that's a great point. I think that's a great point, because I think that's why he maybe had the ump yesterday, because he knows him sort of breathing down his neck. I've not seen that reaction from him before, where he's like got the ump where Saka's not put it across to him and all that, like, you know. So I thought that was good. I thought his touch play was really good. I'll tell you what I did like about him yesterday. Their centre halves could not handle him. They were ripping him down, pulling him. They could not defend against him, like, you know, the physicality side of it. We haven't had that before, you know. So I thought there was one where Fourever just grabbed hold of him, nowhere near the ball, and just wrestled him to the ground. What does that tell you? They're uncomfortable. They're uncomfortable, these defenders. So listen, I think that he's going to come up against a better defence. Of course he is, like, you know. But I like the physicality of him yesterday. I thought he worked really well, worked hard. And at the end of the day, this is where football is funny. If he don't score yesterday, right, and it is a tap-in, it's a mistake from their goalkeeper, there's no way on God's earth anybody would have given him man of the match. You know what I mean? Like, but perhaps he's been playing like that for the last few games, and we've not judged him on that because he ain't scored. As soon as he scores, everybody's going, great. For me, like yesterday, the one thing I'm pleased about is that he scored. I said before the game, he has to score tonight. Because there is pressure on him. You're right, Curtis, what you're saying. There is pressure on him because of the two guys in front of him, behind him in Jesus and Havertz. And I'll tell you something else, you make a great point. And I'm a massive Odegaard fan, like, you know, but he cannot have poor games no more. Because if you're saying, like, well, Gyökeres is under pressure because of Jesus and Havertz, he's under pressure with Eze and Wanyeri. You can't. Listen, I think he's been brilliant for us a lot, but the last couple of games he's not been quite at it. He has to play against Forest and produce. If he doesn't, his place has got to come under threat. Don't matter who you are. Why should Gyökeres' place come under threat or Trossard? You know, Trossard I didn't think was great yesterday. There's a conversation that Martinelli got hat-trick. His place is under threat now. Why is there all players under threat? You know what I mean? Miles Lewis-Skelly dropped straight away, like, you know, no ruthlessness in that. There's got to be the same for everybody, whether you're a captain or not, like, you know. So he needs to start producing Odegaard and on a regular basis. Otherwise, you know, it could cause a little bit of discontent between the players because, you know, Gyökeres now knows if he has one bad game, he's out of the scene, boys. You know what I mean? Like, one of these guys is coming in. And to be fair, Jesus is really put the pressure on, you know. So yeah, I think that's a good point, Curtis. You know what I mean? He's got to play better than what he did yesterday.
Yeah. I thought I was pleased for Gyökeres because I just think we've all got a bit disgruntled with him, and rightly so. You know, what we expected and what we've seen has not added up. But I was just always of that belief that we've seen Jesus and Havertz up front before over the course of a season or two, and it hasn't worked. We haven't scored enough. We haven't got over the line. So I still think Arsenal's best opportunity of winning the title is if they can get Gyökeres in some sort of form. So you just got to hope that's a bit of a building block performance for him yesterday. Hopefully, I mean, I'd start him at Forest, and because we got a couple Champions League games, you could rotate a little bit, and then you know, try and get him on the goal trail. So listen, with these title races, it's all about how you finish the season. If Gyökeres gets 10 or 11 goals between now and the end of the season, we'll all sit there and go, he's done what we bought him for. You forget about the start of the season. If you're lifting the title and he scores 4 or 5 match-winning goals. So it's all about, where you go from here. And he had an injury at the start of the season, few international breaks, disrupted him. Now he's got like you said, Lee, he knows there's 2 strikers waiting for him. But yeah, I do want that same sort of pressure on Odegaard as well, and Trossard, all of them, Saka, just because Odegaard's captain, if he's not playing well, then, that's why you bought Eze, and that's why Ethan, from the sounds of it, is not going to go on loan. So I hope he's got that ruthless nature about him.
Yeah, for sure. You know what, Jack? Let's talk about the game at the weekend, Forest. Now, you know what I mean. That's another huge game. We know we've had these 4 tough away games, 2 of them taken care of now. This is the next one. That Forest away. They haven't been playing well, Forest. They did win their last Premier League game against West Ham, but they didn't look great in that game. I watched that game. I don't think they looked very good in that game. It was basically a goalkeeping error that gave them the 3 points. They got knocked out of the FA Cup by Wrexham, a game in which they came back. They were down. They were losing 2-0, came back, got it to 3-3, but lost on penalties. But they're out of the FA Cup. Is this a good time to be catching Forest? It's always a difficult place to go to. Or is this still a tough game? They're fighting for their lives down there near the bottom. We know that City are playing before we play. They got the Manchester derby away, at Manchester United at Old Trafford. They've got to go and visit. That won't be easy for them, despite how United have been playing recently. This is a big, big game for Arsenal, isn't it? Away at Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, I think it can't be underestimated that it's a big game for Nottingham Forest as well, just as much as it's a big game for us. I mean, I think West Ham are 7 points behind them now in the relegation zone, and West Ham have got a couple tough games coming up now. They've got United coming up, they've got Liverpool coming up. So if Forest could win 1 or 2, that could sort of set a double point lead and sort of almost send West Ham down already, it looks like. So the pressure's massive on them. I know Big Yarns, friend of the channel, is very, very worried about West Ham right now. So he is begging for us to beat Forest at the moment. In terms of us, like you said, every game is sort of a final for us now. It's getting towards that business end. It doesn't matter. I don't think if we're playing Forest or Bournemouth or Brighton or City or Chelsea. I think it's always going to be the same now. Everyone's going to want to be the ones to beat us, the ones to stop us. Sean Dyche's teams we've struggled against in the past. So no matter the form that they're in, it's still going to be a tough game. We know they're going to sit back. We know they're going to try to soak it up. We know they might be dangerous on the counter. I mean, we've struggled there before. I remember Taiwo Awoniyi's goals at their ground a couple of years back. He used to cause us a bit of havoc. He scored a few against us. But yeah, in terms of our team, just mentioning Ødegaard, the only criticism I won't have on Ødegaard is that we were all singing his praises when he first came back from injury. Sorry, we were all singing his praises when he first came back from injury. And the difference between, I get what you guys are saying, that needs to be pressure and he needs to perform. But the only thing I'm saying is that when we have put an Eze in, he hasn't put the pressure on. That's probably the issue, like we saw against Portsmouth. There's your chance against a team that's fighting relegation in the Championship to maybe put a mark on the game, remind us, oh wow, we've got Eze there, and he didn't do it. So maybe that just gives Ødegaard, maybe that is on Ødegaard a mentality thing. He needs to not be so comfortable. I agree that Wanyeri last night should have got a chance. I think there are a couple more games for me and Curtis wearing a free from Wanyeri t-shirt on the pod. So yeah, I need to see a bit more of him. But I don't think Forest is going to be the game. In terms of lineups and stuff, I think just strongest possible, isn't it? I don't think we missed any players last night through injury. I would start Gyökeres off the back of that game. He looked good. I agree with what Lee just said as well about Trossard. I don't think that was his best game yesterday. I can't remember to see him doing much. I thought Martinelli looked a bit better when he came on. But yeah, I sort of think the team's sort of picking itself at the moment. I think he was mentioned at the start of the pod, Saliba, unbelievable again yesterday. Sort of, for the past month or so, he's really picked up his performances in terms of like his ball playing, his awareness. He's sort of maybe all the love for Gabriel, and obviously it used to be a bit flipped, didn't it? We all used to praise Saliba and say he was the chosen one, and Gabriel was his partner, and then it sort of changed that Saliba's Gabriel's partner, and maybe that gave him a bit of kick, a bit of pressure to go remind everyone, this is the guy that Real Madrid were desperate for, and I think we saw that last night. So yeah, hopefully no injuries in training, no, because I mean January was a cursed time for us last year, losing Havertz in a training injury, so it's good to see him back. So yeah, I mean, Forest, you expect to win. I'll be disappointed with anything but a win. But yeah, I don't think we should be going into the game thinking, oh, they're at the bottom, let's rotate. I think rotate in the Champions League, keep the rotation for there. It's good that Declan Rice came off and didn't play a full 90, so he'll be a bit fresher in the coming weeks. I want to see more of that. I'd be really angry if I'm seeing Declan Rice play a full 90 against Kairat, for example. There's no need for any of that. So yeah, just about using our squad over maybe over these next 2 weeks where we have got the option. I know it's Inter Milan away, and we don't want to lose, but we've got that option of maybe could Norgard play? Is it going to be a massive issue if we did lose that one? No. It could be just about using our squad the next 2 weeks to sort of get over the line in them tricky Prem games.
Yeah. You know what, right, which is really weird, right, is that when we all say like Forest is a really difficult place to go to, which I think it is. The atmosphere there is always a great atmosphere, always really, really tough. But the weird thing about it, if you look at them this season, it has not been a difficult place to go to. You know what I mean? I was reading this stat here that only West Ham and Wolves, who've lost 8 games at home, have lost more home games than Nottingham Forest this season. They've lost 6 games at home. I was a bit astounded by that stat. You know what I mean? And they've lost 6 of their 10 Premier League games at home. Yeah, 6 of their last Premier League games, 10 Premier League games at home this season. They've only won 3 of them and drawn 1. So where they've been really bad at home. So we've got to try and go there and exploit that. We go there and put the pressure on right from the start. And I think, you know, the thing is, sometimes you look at it, you say to yourself, oh boy, they've had all week off and we've had to play, Wednesday. I actually think it's a good thing that we played on Wednesday because that's a morale boosting, confidence boosting away win at a really, really tough place. If I'm a player now, I'm looking forward to Forest. I'm looking forward to it. And if I'm a Forest fan, I'm looking at him thinking, hey, these guys are coming, man. They've been doing all right away from home. You know what I mean? They've been winning all these games away from home. Our home record's awful. We got to go there and right from the start, don't give them anything. Right from the start, we got to be on them because their home form, which is normally the thing that really makes Forest a real fortress, because the great atmosphere there, really, tight old ground, traditional ground, has not been what it's been over the past few seasons. This is a chance for Arsenal.
Rob, can I just say, sorry, Lee, when I played, I couldn't stand a week of training. I wanted a midweek game. Do you know what I mean? Because you knew if if you had no game midweek, you knew, the manager's going to get us doing fitness in the week and we're going to be on the training ground all week. I loved having a game Tuesday or Wednesday night under the lights. And if you won, you were buzzing. They'll have a recovery session today, a couple light trainings, and then they'll go to Forest. So I think it helps sometimes when you're playing and you're ticking over and everyone is getting game time. In terms of Forest, obviously, my local team, I still speak to a couple of people who coach there. And the thing about Forest, Rob, at the City Ground is if you look at their results, a lot of their best performances at home are against the bigger clubs.
Yeah, they lost 2.
They seem to liven up when, I think they drew with Man United at home. They gave Man City a tough run. They battered Tottenham at home. And then they lose to like Everton. I think they lost to Brighton. That's where their results have been poor. I think it'll be a hard game. 5:30 kickoff. Sean Dyche. You know what you're going to get. It's going to be physical. They'll low block. They'll try and hit us on the break. Hudson-Odoi and these sorts of guys. But it's got to be 3 points. I've got to be honest. Like, in a title race, you've got to go there and beat them. They're out of form. They stumbled over the line against West Ham. It was a terrible game, as you said, 2 low quality teams. I think West Ham have actually saved Forest this year because they should be in the bottom 3 the way they've played. This their 3rd manager. Some of their fans are already talking about Sean Dyche not being good enough.
Do you see where they want to send Zinchenko back? By the way,
oh no, they've actually paid us to loan him for the season, and they're saying, "Look, can we just send him back to you in January?" Because they've got like 3 left backs, and I don't. He's not even in the European squad. They haven't registered him, so probably
Thanks,
Arsenal
Edu.
will try and bring him back. Yeah, Edu trying to make up for his mistake.
Arsenal already said they don't want him back. Like they're like,
Oh no, what I mean is maybe Arsenal will, if they can get a loan deal somewhere else, maybe they'll say, look, we'll bring you out of Forest, send you straight to a different club. We don't want him back at Arsenal, that's for sure. But it's a must-win game. It's a massive game actually, because as we've spoke about, Man City playing Man United at 12:30. So the whole dynamics could have changed. We could have a possibility of going 9 points clear, or it could be down to as little as 3 points, depending on what Man United do. So it's a massive game. And honestly, like Jack was alluding to, that Inter Milan game, on paper, look, it's a massive game, Inter against Arsenal. I actually wouldn't mind Arteta. Slight rotation. Look, you're not going to make wholesale changes and get battered. That's not going to help. But I think you can afford to rest 1 or 2 players when you go to Italy. If we got a draw there, it's not the end of the world. But this is a big game, big weekend in the title race, I think. Because I've got a little hope that United might do something. As bad as they are, they seem to turn up for this Manchester derby sometimes. I know it's only a little bit of hope, but yeah.
Carrick's at the wheel, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
I think this is a massive game. I do like, and listen, I think these teams worry me because I'll tell you what, there's no pressure on Forest on this game. There was pressure on them against West Ham. This is one where they look at it and think, well, we're expected to lose. We can go and give it a good go. Like they did against Man City. I thought that they were very unlucky against Man City. Man City got fortunate. It looked like it could be a draw at one stage. I felt that City looked like they was always in the game, but I felt that Forest could hang on. And if we defend like we did on Wednesday against Chelsea, I think that, we could be vulnerable, and I think that I get what you're saying here, Curtis. I like the fact that we're playing week in, week out, games, everything like that. But the recovery time for us is a little bit limited, Wednesday to Saturday, where, Forest have had all week to go on to it, so. But I think if I'm Arteta, I'm saying to the boys that played yesterday, just give me one real 100% 90 minutes. And I'm with you on that. Inter Milan, I'd expect quite a lot of rotation. I'd actually play Kepa in the next 2 Champions League games and bring Raya back for the semi-final. That's what I would do if I was Arteta. But I do think that Forest are one of those teams under Sean Dyche. I remember a couple of years ago when we was on a fantastic run, playing really, really well, and went up to Everton and lost 1-0. A Sean Dyche team, and I looked at it and I thought, well, how have we lost that game? You know what I mean? And he is one of those that will play a low block. The fans of Forest will accept that because you're playing against Arsenal, like they accept it against Man City if they get the result. I think we've got to be right on point in this game. I think if you look at our last 3 games, I think we've shown a little bit of vulnerability in our defence side of it. 2 against Bournemouth, 1 against Portsmouth, and 2 against last night. And I think last night was with our best back 4, but it weren't with our goalkeeper. So I'm tending to let that one go. Obviously, Portsmouth won as well. But I do think we've been a little bit sloppy. I think that we cannot afford to be sloppy defensively against a team like Forest. If you give them encouragement, give them a goal start, it's going to be tough. The draw's not good enough for us on this game because of what we decided to do against Liverpool. So I think that, we've got to win this game. And then if we do win this game, you look at that Liverpool game and you think, you know what, that one, it weren't a bad point and the way we went about it. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to be a lot more nervous on Saturday at 5:30 than I was at 8 o'clock going into Stamford Bridge yesterday. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm confident. Just by going off of what we've been doing away from home. I mean, we've had all these away games. They're tricky away games as well, and we've come through them. Away at Bournemouth, not easy, good side, much better side than Forest. We got through that. Away at Chelsea, going away at Portsmouth, and just in general, away from home, we've been all right this season. And the thing that buoys me up is the squad, the players that are available right now, because we had a lot of games that have gone away this season. He's out. I know we still got some players out like Calafiori and that, but there's a lot more kind of strength in depth and options and stuff like that that you can deploy now. And I just feel that that's what will get us over the line. And I'm like you, what you said there, Curtis, is really interesting, because would you rather have a game during the week and win it, morale boosting win, you feel really up, and or you've been knocked out of the FA Cup, your manager's angry at you, your fans are upset at you, you've had to be working all week on the training ground on this and that. I don't know, man. I think I'd rather be also in a good position in this game. And like you said, he can say to all of those players, or to a big portion of those players, just go out there and give us everything. Give us everything, and you'll have a rest against Inter. Because the Inter Milan is it's not as important as this game at the weekend. This is the big one, man. This is a really, really important game. And go and get a win in that. We'd be kind of December, January period would be looking really good. Really good. And as I said, Forest, they lost a lot of home games, man. I was looking lost at home 3-0 against Chelsea. Lost to Sunderland at home. Come on, Arsenal can. If we're going to win the league, man, we need to be going and winning these games. You know what I mean? We need to be winning these games.
I think my only concern at the moment, if you look at the whole squad, is Lewis Skelly is the only defender available at the moment on the bench. If you hear what Arteta said about Calafiori, all of a sudden he's saying that's a number of weeks when we don't really know what the injury is. He was in the warm-up for the game, and then
I think he must have a Leeds physio or something. You know what I mean? Because we don't know.
Yeah, he's got a sciatica. I think he must have one of them chairs in his house.
Yeah, he's got a dodgy chair on the bench.
He's done his back. You know what I mean? I don't know what's happened, but matter of days, matter of weeks. You know what I mean? You don't see him for about 2 months, and Nkapie's out. He said he's waiting for the results of his scan. I don't know how long that takes. Well, even Lee's had a scan.
Well,
so
that's a load of rubbish, isn't it? Because I don't know if they're trying to kid on that. Like like I'm going to have my scan on the Saturday. You get the results within an hour.
Yeah.
So what scan? What's all that about? You've had a scan and you don't know. Like that's what the scan's for. It tells you exactly what's required and all that. Listen, I don't believe sometimes what Arteta says. You know what I mean? Like Trossard and Saliba were doubtful for that game. There they were out there. So. But the one that he said about Calafiori was, he was, like he's progressing well. Yeah, be back in a couple of days, and all of a sudden he hits you with it like he's out for weeks. He's just all right.
Mosquera is still missing. Mosquera was close a couple of weeks ago, and now he's still getting there, and he's getting there. But I don't know if we've only got one left back left. Is that what you're telling me, Curtis? That the Zinchenko is on the cards? We're gonna
No, not them cards, mate. You know what I mean? Keep them cards away.
I think they do need to get somebody in, and I don't mean this, because I still, guys, I look at it last season, Ryan, who, looks after Robbie all the time, was saying, put up a league table last week where we was at this stage last year, we was 5 points clear. Liverpool were 5 points clear of us. We're 6 now, and we had injuries and we didn't do nothing about it. Like Man City are going to do. If Man City get injured, they're doing something about it. They're not going to just not do it. And I think at the end of the day, we're in a position now where I don't think we should be leaving things to chance. And I don't mean this horribly on Calafiori and Nkapie. They're not got a great record at the moment. Calafiori hasn't got a great record at this moment in time, and nor is Nkapie. I think this is his third injury since he's only been here 6 months.
He never got injured at Leverkusen.
It's mad, isn't it? But the Premier League is different, isn't it, Rob? You know, it's a different animal. It tests you physically as well as mentally. And I think that if there is an opportunity to do so, I'm not going to mention names, but Rob knows more about this than us, than he, Curtis. Like, you know what I mean? So,
well, apparently,
apparently.
What names you got?
I ain't got no names. I don't know. You know what I mean? But I think if there's a possibility to get somebody in, I would be looking at doing it because, Calafiori, he might come back, but then he might break down again in February, March when you can't replace it. If there's something to be done, I think Arsenal should cover that.
They were looking at Livramento. Now he's out for 8 weeks.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. He'll fit in well, won't he, Rob? You know what I mean? Arsenal medical room. No, I agree with you, though. I mean, I get the impression that, I don't know what you think, Rob, because obviously you're on the ball with it, but I don't think we've got a lot of money to spend. I reckon 260 million we did in the summer, but if Berta could maybe get someone in on loan with an option to buy or an obligation, I think we could do with another player. Maybe it's crazy because we've got so many defenders, but now we're going, we've only got one that we can rotate. So if somebody gets injured over the next week or so, we're genuinely down to.
Well, we're taking a risk with Ben White. You know what I mean? You got to play Ben White on Saturday, didn't you? But you're taking a risk after 2 days. You know what I mean? He's only just come back to play 3 games in 6 days. You're asking him to do that again. Is that too much for him? He may be left out on Saturday.
Did you say Mosquera could be back though, innit? For like, he's on the verge.
He said he was close, but you never know with Mikel, do you? Close could be, you know what I mean, a month and a half. Hopefully,
he'll be important coming back. Mosquera, he'll be important, definitely.
Yeah.
Because he can play centre back, right back, so he'll be an important, And Miles has to step up. You know what I mean? It was a bit sad last night to see that Timber played in the left back position, but when you saw the way the players that we're up against on that left hand side, you couldn't really put Miles in at the moment. He would have got skinned. So Miles got to step his game up. We get back to the Miles that we were seeing last season. It's as simple as that. You know what I mean? And then we shouldn't really be talking about left back. Because at that time he was in England's team. He was playing brilliantly. If anything, if he would have been playing like how he was last season, we'd be saying he should be starting in that position without no issues whatsoever. So he's got to step up. It's a big challenge for him. He's a young player still. He's going through a tough moment. He would have been a bit stung by that last night, but he's got to step it up, man. He's got to step it up. But let's get into the predictions. Let's take a look at prediction table. Let me see what we got here.
I already know Lee's prediction. I can see it in his face.
So Jack 27 points, Lee 22. I'm on 18. Curtis on 17. However, that's before the deductions, right? So the 2 points have been deducted from Jack, takes him down to 25. Lee's on 22. I'm still on 18. Curtis on 17.
Shaking my head. 2 points. 2 points.
2 points, mate.
I'm taking it. What was that appeal? The Man City appeal. I need to go to them people. I need to take it there because
good luck with that. You've been about 4 years.
Yeah, but it'll be on hold for them 4 years. That's all that matters.
All right, so let's get. Sorry.
I saw a comment actually saying, can't believe Jack's missed another show. So I have to point it out. This is my 20th out of 23rd shows, guys. This is show 20.
They've called you part-time Jack. I don't know what that means, right? You know what I mean?
Part-time Jack. That's 20 out of 23.
You know what I mean?
And,
well, 18 of them you turned up late, though. That's the problem. You know what I mean?
Seriously,
and you see what?
He's the Calafiori of Fourever Arsenal, man. You know what I mean? He's always out. You know what I mean?
And can you notice how it's Robbie and Curtis talking? Because Lee's actually the only one who hasn't missed the show. If we want to talk about numbers, if we want to get into numbers, boys, Curtis and Robbie should be a couple point deductions there. But you know what? It's fine. It's fine.
Got no points.
I'll take it.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah. I ain't got no points to lose.
We can take Curtis's boys. It's not going to make a difference, is it? But anyway, predictions.
Mate, I went home for Christmas, man. You know what I mean? I had to.
Predictions. Forest away. Let's look at Lee's face. What's he going to go with? I've got to play careful
You know
now.
what he's
It's
going
only
with,
3
mate.
points in. Yeah, I know what he's going with. It's 2-0. I can't let you get close now. They're trying to drag me back into it.
Lee, you're close to him, mate. Have a gamble.
I am going to have a gamble on this one, like, you know what I mean? I'm going to go 1-0 to the Arsenal.
I'm going to go 3-1 Arsenal.
Ooh, I'll go 2-1.
2-1. Okay.
2-1 to the Arsenal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So those are the predictions. Let's hope at least one of those come through, and then we're all looking good. We got any comments today?
Yeah, I've got one. Ready for this one? This is from Gandalf the Gunner. Kenya was so mad when Lee and Curtis were laughing at Robbie about his transfer daily. Like, you know? I've looked back at that and Kenya was giving us daggers, Curtis. She was.
Yeah.
She's like, she sees,
don't you mug off my dad.
She sees the work and effort that goes into the show. Like today, for instance, when I've got in at 2 a.m. in the morning after doing all the fan cams and that down at Stamford Bridge, only to then have to wake up at 7 this morning to do Transfer Daily, right? So, you know, that's why she has an appreciation of it, unlike you mugs. You know what I mean? You're giving...
Well, my one I've got is Trey Abs. He said, Curtis is a demon. Transfer Daily takes how long, Rob? I'm crying.
This guy. What about you there walking down? Remember Lee, when we was in LA? This guy walking down the road.
Yeah, I remember that.
Bro, I'm putting my life on the line for Arsenal. You know what I mean? In LA, gang culture. I've got a selfie stick to tell people that, you know what I mean, we're being linked with...
Yeah, he's wearing I noticed one day he'd wear a red Arsenal top, and then the next day wear a blue one, right? So he didn't want... He's trying to appease the Crips and the Bloods as he's walking down.
You know what I mean? I'm trying to stay neutral in LA, man. I'm taking mad chances. Oh my days.
Comment. You got one, Jack?
Yeah, it was literally the comment I mentioned earlier. It was just someone saying that I'll never turn up anymore. It was I haven't actually got his name here, but it was just someone saying, but it's nice to know that you'll miss me that much.
Oh, no name. He might be making it up.
Yeah, he could be making this up. What's the name
of the... I will send the screenshot. In the WhatsApp.
Yeah, make sure you do. Make sure you do. Otherwise, it's a point deduction.
Hey, listen, this could be another point deducted again.
Does anyone want to bet? Does anyone want a points bet? Does anyone want a points bet? I'll bet you 1 point.
Gets one of his mates to
I
send in a comment
so.
to the video.
Do you know what I mean? No, I ain't got a point to bet.
Brokies, man. Brokies, you know, points.
I got this one from Chinny Dokwendu. He says, I saw a mad stat that Mustafi and Socrates have a better win ratio and less mistakes leading to a goal than Van der Ven or Romero. Remember, he was talking about Tottenham. That's mad, if that's true. It probably is true, you know, when you think about the amount of goals they've given away them to. You know?
Red cards for Romero.
It's a great stuff.
Before we go, boys, right. I've got another thing to say, like, you know. I'm very disappointed in you, Rob. I'm very disappointed in Ryan. Showing all those bad clips about me in the football, like, you know, and I've got a bit of heat over that, like, you know. Actually was going to the game yesterday and someone called me, here's the butcher, you know what I mean? Like, it was just bang out of order, like, boys.
Look, I heard that after seeing your clip the other day, Gyökeres called you up and said, you know, if you can get some tips on how to handle Saka. And he carried out all the things that you saw. This was the guy who was moaning about Gyökeres earlier on in the show.
No, listen.
Disgraceful fouls.
Disgraceful, but in that same game, that Ryan, the dirty dog, didn't show me a clip, but apparently he's got that clip now of the same game. So, Ryan, could you please play this clip, please? not all dirty, not all nasty, a little bit of culture in the play as well, like, you know. And I just think that
You remind me of an experienced El Nenny there. You know what
I tell you what, like, I mean, that's bang out of order. Just want to, like, you know, put a little bit of balance to the argument. Like, thank you, Ryan. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, like, you know, he's a good lad, Ryan. He's back in my good books, like, you know what I mean? So,
oh my days. Well, listen, guys, thank you very much. Obviously, guys, a big game coming up at the weekend. Nottingham Forest away. City go to Old Trafford. Huge game for them. Who Villa got, by the way? I forgot. Who they got?
Everton at home.
Everton, well, you'd expect them to win that. So a massive game for Arsenal. Let's go and get those 3 points. Thank you very much. Cheers, Jack, Lee and Curtis. And thanks to all you guys. Keep those comments coming in on Fourever Arsenal. But big win for Arsenal in the first leg of the semi-finals. Now, let's go and do the job at Villa. Not Villa, Forest. See you later.